What's going on, Dolphin fans? It is your boy Dillon, and I just got a couple quick little pieces of news that I wanted to let you guys know about, some stuff that's related to the Dolphins, both directly and indirectly. So let's get into it. The first thing I wanted to let you guys know about, Dolphins workout Alex Collins and CFL quarterback. This was from a tweet from Field Yates. The Dolphins, who need to address their backfield this offseason, worked out former Ravens running back Alex Collins, who led them in rushing in 2017 with 973 yards. I don't personally know a lot about him. That was a couple years ago now. I don't know where he is or what he's doing. There hasn't been any reports of the Dolphins actually signing him to this point. So I don't know if that's going to materialize into anything. We'll have to wait and see. But we definitely do need help at running back. That is for sure. They also worked out CFL quarterback Chris Straveller, who led Winnipeg to the Grey Cup this year, a potential developmental arm. So, I mean, you know, I certainly don't hate bringing somebody over from the CFL. Again, with him, no indication that he's actually been signed yet, so we'll wait and see on that. Obviously, Cameron Wake was the most notable CFL transplant, and certainly for the Dolphins, and so I don't hate that at all, and I would like to maybe see them bring in another guy like that, because at the end of the day, you guys know I don't want us to take a first-round quarterback, especially if that means we're going to trade up for him. And if they were to bring in another guy or whatever like that, then maybe that would lead them to address other needs on the team and on the roster than, rather than, trade away a bunch of draft capital to go get one guy. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But again, as of right now, there's no indication that either of those players have been signed. But I wanted to let you know about those tryouts. Also, the other notable thing, I've been seeing reports, and I've got one right here, and I've been talking about this for a while, right? Now, I can't recall hearing anybody else talk about this, any of the other content creators or really anybody in the media. I talk about it and how it, affects the Dolphins. There's a little bit of national media about it, but that's obviously from an overall NFL standpoint. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the possibility of a lockout after the 2020 season. Now, the NFLPA and the NFL are, going back and forth in their negotiations to, come up with a new collective bargaining agreement. But apparently, from the reports that I've seen, they're still pretty far from coming to any kind of agreement. And there's this report, I've seen a couple of them now. I saw one earlier, I got an alert earlier from ESPN. Anyway, real quick before I get into this one though, I've been talking about how this could affect the Dolphins, right? And how part of the reason why I said that this whole reset, this whole tank / eject all the players and, blah, 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 et cetera, is that this one potential wrench that could get thrown into the whole fucking cogs in the system is a possible lockout after the 2020 season if, these two sides are incapable of coming together to form an agreement. And to this point, it seems like it's more likely that we're going to end up having a lockout than we will end up having them come to some sort of agreement. So real quick, there's this report from Bleacher Report. NFLPA gave players work stoppage guide to prepare for possible lockout. The National Football League Players Association reportedly issued a work stoppage guide to players to prepare them for a potential strike or lockout following the 2020 season. According to ESPN's Dan Graziano, the NFL and NFLPA maintain that a work stoppage is unlikely, but the NFLPA wanted the players to have a game plan just in case. Now, they have said that at this point, we're still about a year away. We have to go the entire 2020 year and season before we get to that point. So we're about a year away. Now, they say that, but there have also been reports, as I mentioned before, that have noted that at this point they're still pretty far from actually coming to an agreement. And my speculation is that based off of, you know, the way that the NFL is, and all they give a shit about is their bottom dollar, and they don't care about the players at all. And with the way that, you know, activism is becoming a big thing, and, you know, people are really starting to stand out more. The players are constantly, you know, demanding their, you know, fair share, et cetera, and, you know, we're seeing holdouts more and more on teams from individual players. I think that there's actually a pretty high likelihood that this could end up being a reality. And so that would, you know, massively, I mean, come on, think about it. What if, now I know a lot of people think that year one under Brian Flores and this regime was great, but imagine if they had the disaster year that they did, right, in 2019. Then let's say that they are big spenders in free agency and way overpay, you know, for a few guys, you know, 2 or 3 guys that they think are going to be the key guys that they really need to start turning this around and do it immediately, particularly on the offensive line. Think that they're going to spend big in free agency on the offensive line, and that's going to fix it. And then couple that with trading away significant draft capital to go get a quarterback, and then thereby also neglect the rest of the team. And what if they then have a down season this year, things don't pan out like they want, and then what if after the 2020 season there's a lockout and we don't even have football in 2021? Imagine what that is going to do. Not to mention, you know, year one and year two are going to be fresh, young, inexperienced teams with, you know, I mean, it was almost an entirely new coaching staff both seasons, new systems, etc. So, I mean, it just, you have all of these different factors that just spell out to continued disaster, yet for some reason the, you know, general populace of Dolphins fans seem to think that they're headed in the right direction. Now, again, to be fair, we have to wait and see if this actually materializes, and I hope that they can get things sorted out. But at the same time, you know, with a realistic, you know, approach and perspective from it, I mean, it looks like as of right now, it's more likely that they will end up having a lockout. Now, obviously, I'm not, you know, in those rooms and in those discussions. I only have to go off of the reports and the articles and the things that I see. And of course, you guys know that I don't always necessarily just believe, you know, mainstream media when they report things. So we have to wait and see what happens. But it is a distinct possibility, and that would just be yet another massive wrench into the cogs for this Dolphins team, who is supposedly on the right track and supposedly trying to build to something, you know, sustainable and, you know, worthy of you know, praise or whatever. So anyway, it's concerning, but we have to wait and see how it plays out. So anyway, that's what I got for you guys. I'm gonna jump up out of here. I hope you guys enjoy my videos and my perspective. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts. Make sure you share my channel and videos with your friends and family. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comment section. And of course, as always, make sure you follow me on Twitter at Dillon Tartaro. And with that, I am out. I'll see y'all soon. Fins up.